I'm Kerry Gibson and I'm an Associate Professor in the School of Psychology at the University of Auckland, and I was President of the New Zealand Psychological Society between 2014 and 2016. You know, for me, some of the standout things that I felt I was dealing with during the period that I was President, and obviously I'd been involved in the Society for quite a long time before, but during those 2 years between 2014 and 2016, I think some of the biggest things for me were about making connections with sort of other international psychological organisations and societies. It was important because I think what it helped me realise was that actually partly what the tremendous sort of gains that we had made in New Zealand over quite a long period of time, particularly around sort of bicultural issues, and the way that we developed a framework for thinking about those things, a framework of ethics, a framework of contributed to frameworks of competencies for psychologists, had developed a kind of a very strong literature base, and there were people like Moana Waitoki and Rose Black, and others who've made an enormous contribution there over the years. But somehow kind of starting to talk to psychological societies outside of New Zealand, I realised what they really wanted to know about and what they'd heard about New Zealand was what we had done around culture and biculturalism. So in a way, it was not only useful for us in finding out what they were doing and positioning ourselves on a sort of more international stage, but it was also really good to kind of see ourselves reflected through their eyes and how much they valued the contributions that we had made. So that was really exciting for me, and I had the opportunity to do, you know, to kind of go to an international conference in Yokohama. During the period that I was President, we continued to address those. That's always been a fantastic tradition within the New Zealand Psychological Society, which around the importance we place on social justice issues. And one of the subjects sort of closest to my heart was the relationship between poverty and mental health problems, and in particular child poverty and the impact that has on the way that young people are growing up in New Zealand. It's become a major issue over the years with increasing inequality. And you know, it's easy for psychologists to just focus on, you know, the one client in front of them, to focus on psychotherapies, but really I think what's important for psychology is to look at the bigger picture and how social issues contribute to the experiences of distress that people have. And so I was proud to be a part of an initiative where we developed a literature review working together with the Child Poverty Action Group, and were able to launch that publicly and get quite a lot of media attention for that. And I felt that that was something really worthwhile. And yeah, I guess the third thing that I think that it was important for me, and remains, I think, important for psychology in New Zealand, is for us to make better connections across the various areas of psychology. Now, psychology is an incredibly sort of diverse area with lots of different branches, and each of those, you know, have a particular and unique contribution to make. But I think that we all have a lot in common, you know, whether we're academics or professionals, or primarily whether we work in clinical psychology or community psychology or counselling psychology or industrial or forensic psychology. All of those areas are tremendously important, and we have kind of potential to make closer links between us. And I think that's one of the real advantages of the New Zealand Psychological Society, is it is one of the few forums where you can pull together all those different groups of people and look at, well, what's common between us. And I guess the value of that is to be able, as a sort of a concerted group, to draw attention to issues that we think are important, not just at the level of sort of individuals, but also, you know, we need to, as psychologists, start having making our voices heard about the kind of, say, health system that we want in this country, the kind of economic system, the system of social support that we want in this country. And psychologists have often sort of kind of been very useful with individual problems, but I think that there is a place for us to take that kind of broader stage and go, well, you know, what's good for people in this country is, you know, for families and children to get proper financial support, economic support, or what we really need in the mental health system is for people to get the therapy that they need, not just pharmaceuticals, but psychological therapies that, you know, obviously we have expertise in. So I think, and one of the things is that to be able to do that effectively, we need to kind of join together to make those arguments and be heard.